Over the past couple hours, a lot of people have been sending me lists of this supposed reveals that were popping around all over the internet, and I didn't really want to report it until there was some more concrete evidence that this was legitimate. And now some AEN codes in relation to these listings have surfaced thanks to multiple different sources that have sent me this. And I feel now confident we could talk about it, that there's some legitimacy of it, and that then we could get excited about it. So let's talk about some Transformers R.E.D. news, the robot enhanced design line, and 4 new reveals that will be coming out for it that we only have right now through these listings, as well as an oddball San Diego Comic-Con listing, and some Kingdom and some Studio Series 86 in a variant scale. So let's get into that. So, of these R.E.D. figures, we got 2 Generation 1 figures, and we got 2 very surprising Transformers Prime figures of this 6-inch Transformer Hasbro line. The first 2 we got here is a G1 Shockwave and a G1 Galvatron. Now, Shockwave, I've said this many times in the past, he's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Generation 1 Decepticon character. I have a strong tie to him primarily because of the Marvel comics back in the day. And I just like his design and how he was depicted in those books, and how that became strongly his depiction moving forward with other iterations, as opposed to his more slavishly loyal Generation 1 cartoon version. And I just feel that, yeah, hey, it's really cool that he's getting an R.E.D. figure, but he's also one of those characters that, I mean, I've always felt that even his Generation 1 toy knocked it out of the park. Like even his 1985, toy box Korean repaint toy that we got all those years ago, just knocked it out of the park, and it was show accurate already. When we got the Masterpiece one, I actually did a quite an extensive review on his Masterpiece toy, just because of how much I love that character. Just saying, well, he's even more perfect than he already is. So to get a G1 R.E.D. Shockwave, while not necessary, I don't think he's one of those characters that really needs that kind of treatment. At the same time, because I love that character so much, sure, why not? Sure, okay. I'll probably end up getting him, I guess, just because I love that character so much. I hope it turns out good. You know what? If anything, they should have made it Transformer Prime Shockwave. Give me something different. But, of course, they got to do their Generation 1 stuff. Now we get to G1 Galvatron. Now, this one I could see still existing, because while we do have that War for Cybertron leader class coming, yeah, the proportions and the aesthetic of the War for Cybertron leader class, it's not 100% knocking it out of the park. It's definitely not going to be your Studio Series 86 version. So something like this still has a place. I feel that they'll probably get a lot closer to that Fliro Deary animation model from the 86 movie with the R.E.D. version. He'll probably come even with an accessory to put the Matrix around his neck or something. Again, I dig it. Again, 86 movie stuff. And this one I feel still kind of has a place, because we still haven't nailed it 100% yet. Again, I'm not saying that the Kingdom one is crap. It isn't. But it's still not 100% there yet. So it still has a place. I feel that the moment we kind of achieve perfection with some of our transformable figures, like I look at Jazz, I look at what's going on with a lot of the other characters like Sideswipe and everything. So the second we start hitting that, it really defeats the purpose to kind of create the non-transformable stuff that really their aesthetic cannot be done because of the limitations of just engineering and magic. There's just some characters that you just can't do it. You just can't. And Galvatron, while I do feel it is possible, it hasn't been done yet. Let's get into these 2 Transformer R.E.D. figures. So R.E.D. Prime Optimus Prime and R.E.D. Prime Megatron. This continues the trend of the Transformers R.E.D. line focusing on the Prime property, and also potentially maybe just continuing the 10th anniversary that started already this year with Hasbro Pulse. They gave us that 2-pack of breakdown in the Viacon. They gave us the Megatron. And then already with the R.E.D. line, we've already gotten RC. We know that a knockout is coming at some point. We just don't know when. We haven't seen any images, but that's one, again, a design that has not been perfected in transformable form. So they get a non-transformable figure that could at least get that aesthetic and knock it perfectly. Would work out great. These two here, they both had fantastic figures in the past. So it's not really a matter of doing something that was impossible. It's more just, these are two headliner characters. It's an Optimus. It's a Megatron. You have a wave of 4 figures and you have an Optimus and a Megatron in it. It's pretty obvious that that's how you want to go about it. And the Transformer Prime fans, they get another injection of something from, in their opinion, their favorite Transformer series. I'm more of a Beast Wars guy, but, I could see the love for Transformers Prime, especially the people who grew up with that as their first Transformer series coming off of the movie hype. So I could see why they love it. Let's get into the final 3 listings here. We have a San Diego Comic-Con listing, which again, chances are the con is not going to happen. So this is probably going to be distributed some other way or form, potentially, obviously, through the Hasbro Pulse venue. There's no other information, just Gen SDCC 1. That's it. We don't have a price. We don't have anything like that. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be some fancy box set, whatever. And we'll see what happens from there. And then we got 2 interesting ones. Transformers Generation War for Cybertron Kingdom Voyager class Blaster. Now, I was privately contacted by different individuals claiming that this Voyager Blaster is also going to be coming with a Eject transformable cassette figure, and that in the future at some point, much like the Studio Series 86 RC triplets, where they had a 3-pack in the deluxe price point for Studio Series, this is the movie version, they were able to fit 3 transformable figures in a deluxe price point and have a combiner gimmick and everything. There's going to be a deluxe 3-pack at some point with the other 3 cassette members of Steeljaw, Rewind, and Ramhorn. So this is what supposedly is coming. Kingdom Voyager Blaster, I just hope he looks like his 86 movie look or 85 toy, and I hope he knocks it out of the park. Again, he was my first Transformer toy, so I always have a sentimental place for it. And Voyager works. Soundwave is a Voyager, so you got to have his rival counterpart at least be the same height. That's always been an issue with the original G1 toy, was that Blaster just towered over G1 Soundwave. But they also came from Microman origins, and, well, it's a different story. But either way, I dig this a lot. I think this is great news. I'm very curious. I'm wondering if the Kingdom version is going to be maybe more toy accurate, and then they'll do something maybe with Studio Series 86 down the line, and they'll just give it a new paint scheme, and it'll be more movie/show accurate. There is subtle differences between the two, between the original toy and the show counterpart. So I'm kind of curious if that's what they're going to do. We shall see, but hey, it then will probably lead to a twin cast repaint down later, the Headmaster's character. You could get some other characters, maybe even some repaint from the cassettes. You could get Rosanna out of that. There's all kinds of fun that could be done with those cassette bots. So Blaster, I'm hyped about that one. And speaking of one of my favorites, here's an interesting one. Studio Series Voyager 86 Hot Rod Variant. Now, some people are saying it's just Hot Rod done in his more pinkish hue, that the Studio Series 86 version actually didn't match his proper color scheme in the 86 movie, which, again, depending on which copy of the movie you got, yeah, he had more of a pinkish kind of hue, where the more maroonish kind of look does go towards that of the Rodimus Prime character. That's one explanation. Some people are saying that the variant could be potentially a clear variant. The variant could be potentially a dark Rodimus variant, but then at the same time, it probably would have had a different name on this listing here, like Dark Rodimus or Black Rodimus, or, whatever they want to call him. Rodimus Unicronus might be the new go-to. But that being said, again, Rodimus variant, people are leaning on that pink repaint. Sure, okay. Well, they'll get another sale from me, that's for sure. Maybe fix that spoiler in the process and make it super more show accurate, movie accurate too, at least for the robot mode. And then you're going to get me buying 50 of them if possible. But again, interesting to say the least. And then there was some recent stuff too that also was dropped in my inboxes and stuff. And we have here a Kingdom Worlds Collide 4-pack that was announced. It's actually going to be part of the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line, so that's been updated with that. And and then stuff that we already know, that the Studio Series Leader Class Starscream is going to be that, King Starscream, Emperor Starscream, with the cape, with everything. And that's really it. Also, stuff that we've talked about in the past, not much else new there. So this is still interesting. Again, it's more really about the R.E.D. news with those guys. Shockwave, G1 Galvatron, Optimus Prime, and Megatron from the Prime line. Pretty cool stuff. Blaster, I hope we see some good stuff come from that mold. The cool boombox brother. And Hot Rod, well, he's my brother. Hopefully it turns out well, however they repaint him. I know I'm going to see this mold a lot more in the future than just this and a mild variant. There's going to be a lot more repaints from this epic mold, so we'll see what happens. Let me know what you think about this, guys. Pretty crazy stuff. And again, tomorrow is Transformers Fan First Friday from Hasbro Pulse. So let's see what they're going to announce publicly. We'll have some images, we'll have some news, and we'll have some confirmations. So be sure to tune in tomorrow on the Transformers Slag podcast, and we're going to report all of that.